We live now. 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 Yeah. Yeah, bitch. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What? Oh my. Oh my god. If you guys would look at the shit that pops up on my YouTube page when I first open it up, oh my god. Jesus Christ. I mean, should I show it to you? Do you really want to see it? Let me know in the comments if you want to see what what shows up. My God, it reminds me of an ex girlfriend of mine. It actually does. Actually, it reminds me very close to a girlfriend I had when I was a big time drummer in the Baltimore area, like 25 years ago. All right, let me make sure my page that the sound is actually on. Because if the sound ain't on, what's the point, right? Let me make sure I can hear it on the YouTubes. Pretty sure I can. Come on now. Come on now. I don't hear anything on this page yet. Should. Can't I hear anything? The sound is. Yeah, I mean the sound is showing up in. The sound showing up. Let me. It might just be a problem with my phone. I've had that before, like where my phone just doesn't do it. Let me bring it up on the iPad real quick just to make sure the sound on the YouTube is there. Pretty sure it is, but let me just double check, and then we'll get rolling here with this Allegiant Air flight. I've never flown an Allegiant Air flight before. I'm kind of excited to do this here flight. Taking off from my local airport here at BWI, Baltimore Washington International. Oh yeah, I can hear myself. I don't know why it doesn't show up on my phone, but whatever, bitch. It's all good. All right, I got to bring up the charts. Let me bring up said charts from Navigraphs. All right, let's go ahead and I got to do one more thing on my phone. I turn my camera system off because I'm sitting down here now. Welcome back, all my fine, beautiful aviation friends. Welcome back to the latest episode of Airplane Show. So we're going to fly this here A310-300. The airline in real life is Allegiant Air. It is flight 1849, which I believe it took off about a half an hour ago from Baltimore Washington International, flying directly to Sarasota, Florida. I was trying to do a flight in Colombia, but Avianca, which is the airline that flew it, I could not find an Avianca livery anywhere. I don't know. Like I checked every single livery pack that was available. Whoa, that's annoying. Every single livery pack that was out there, and I just could not find it. I don't know where it's at. So it's a little dark, but my face, but that's all right. You're not missing much. But yeah, man, if you want to see what shows up on my phone when I first open up YouTube, Jesus Christ. Built like a brick shit house, Jesus. All right. Let's go ahead and let me get my mouse going. So let's go ahead and let's get the chocks on. Let's get the jetway connected. Open up this door. Now, I do have live weather and live time on today. Because with this particular plane, it should be okay. There's Allegiant Air. Here's BWI Airport. I live down that way towards the water. In a little town called Pasadena. All right. let's go ahead and set our, let's see here. So the passengers that we have today are, it says 151. We got 151. Our cargo is 3,800, so we can, right? It dragged us to 3,800. Really? There we go, 3,800. And our fuel today is, according to the flight plan, is 13,477. So let's put in 13,500. Come on now. $13.5. All right, and the gross weight is 109.5, and according to the OFP, the takeoff weight is 116. However, their zero fuel weight is about 8,000 pounds lighter than us. So if we were to add 8 to that, that puts us right in line. So let's click apply. Oh yeah, we got to bring in our flight plan. That's why the METAR information isn't showing up. All right, let's get this here aeroplane on. Battery, battery, battery. Ground power. I love flying this airplane. This airplane is a lot of fun. All right, let's get IRSs aligned. So let's do number 1 and number 2 and number 3. And let's plug in our info here. So we have, let's click clear. We have K BWI / KSRQ. KSRQ. Turn. Let's click align IRS. Our alternate is Miami, so KMIA. Very good. And let's see here. Our flight ID today is AAY 1849. Oh, you know what? I forgot to change that shit. Damn it. Let me go back. It's still early enough in the flight. Let's exit out of this. I want to try to keep this as like real as I can. So yeah, we got to change it. Damn it. Well, at least we didn't get too far, and we only programmed like one thing. So yeah, I always forget to do this. Where's D21 again? All right, D21 and customization. AAY 1849. All right, we don't need heavy on. And we'll type in Allegiant. Now, we'll just do heavy. That'll be easier. All right, let's all right, now we can start. Let's make sure that kept. Yep, AAY 1849. And we got live conditions on. All right, now we can go. Now we can go. I always forget to do that. I always forget to plug in the actual, like, flight number there. That way when the ATC is reading everything out, it'll put in there AAY 1849. It's not a necessary step, obviously, to fly the plane, but I like to try to keep it as real as I can. Yo, Grace, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you. Good shit right there. Thank you very much. All right, let's do this here. Let's get the IRS aligned first this time, and then we'll plug in the fuel and the weights and all that. Oh, actually, you know what? No, let's go back and let's just do this again real quick. So let's get the chocks on. Let's get the jetway connected. So let me make sure this is okay. Kilograms, short, on. Yes, and yes. Okay, very good. All right, so passengers is 151. Cargo, I remember, was 3,800. 3.8. And the fuel was 13.5. Yep, there we go. So let's click apply to that. And now let's go ahead and kick on some equipment here. So we got batteries, internal power. Let's turn on, let's align the IRS. So let's turn on number 1, then number 2 over here, and number 3. And let's put on our beacon light so people know that we're in this motherfucker right here. We're in it. We're in it. All right, let's click clear. Let's go to init. We got KBWI, my hometown airport. KBWI to KSRQ, right? Yep. We got that there. Now let's click return and align the IRS. Miami is our alternate airport, so we got KMIA. All right, our flight ID is AAY 1849. Legion Air. Our flight level today is 38,000 feet. So let's plug that in, FL380. We can go get them today. Okay. We can go when I'm done this. I'll be done in probably 2 or 3 hours. Do you need them right now? All right, well, yeah, we can go later today. All right, cost index is 16. Cruise wind is 291.57. 291/57. All right, so that first page is all set up now. Let's go ahead and enter our descent forecast in while we have a few minutes. We'll enter in everything but the destination. We'll plug the destination in when we get a little closer. Before we begin our descent, we'll plug this in, but there's no sense of putting it in now because it's going to change. So let's put in 35,000, 293.84. And then we'll do 31,000. 292/78. 292 and then 78 knots. And then we'll do 15,000 feet for this last one here. So 15,000. 320 is the heading, the wind, and 18 is speed. All right, so that's all good. I guess we can plug in our flight plan now too. Might as well. The landing's a little weird today. If you guys stick with it until we do our approach, it's going to be a little bit of a weird approach today, I think, based on what I saw when I was building it in Sim Brief and a Navigator. We'll be okay. It's just a little strange. All right, so BWI, we are leaving from 15 right. GPS is aligned. There's no 15 right. That's interesting. Could be a 15 right. No, we can do 15 left also. That's only 5,000. There's 15 right. Return and go back into it. That's weird. Where's 15 right at? 15 left. 22, 4, 28. Those aren't being used this morning, though. That is strange. But they're missing a runway. All right, well, let's try, we'll try runway 28, I guess, even though it's not being used this morning. That is really weird. They don't have the runway. I've never seen that before. All right, runway 28. Let me plug that in and make sure we can still do our takeoff. It should be okay. Yep, okay. So we got Terp Z. And RR Sin is our transition. All right, let's insert that. And from there we have direct to GSO. Let's plug in GSO. From GSO, we're picking up a highway, so let's click on GSO. Let's click on airway. And we are doing Q75 to Slow Joe. Very good. And then from Slow Joe, let's click on Slow Joe. We are doing another airway from Slow Joe. Phone. I think I need to reset my phone to factory, back to factory settings, man. It's been really slow lately. All right, Q103 to PUPYY. All right, and from there, I believe that's going to take us to our approach. So, to our arrival. So let's go ahead and go to the standard terminal arrival. And we are doing the ILS for runway 14. And SRQ is our transition. We're doing this Lubber 3. And KYYUU is our. Okay, let's insert that. Let's go ahead and get rid of any discontinuities or breaks in the flight plan. So we got to click clear and then clear this out. Should give us a complete flight plan at that point. Oop, almost. Let's go ahead and get rid of this vector. And let's get rid of this discontinuity here. Very good. Now let's go ahead and check out our flight plan on our map. So let's switch this over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on this up arrow right here just to cycle through. All right, this is what I was talking about, this weirdness here. So this is supposed to be like our transition to our ILS. So when we get to, I think what we're going to do when we get to this area here, we're just going to put it in heading mode and fly ourselves, and we're just going to go out a little bit and then make a big turn like this. You know what I mean? We won't worry about the flight plan at that point. All right, very good. So that's good. We can put this back on map. We'll put this guy over here on flight plan. Let's turn on some lights. Not 100% necessary right now, but nonetheless, I'd rather just make sure they're all up right now. One less thing we got to worry about if it gets dark. You know, if we fly into a storm or something, which could happen. And a little bit of flood. And let's turn on those lights. All right, very good. So that's aligned. Let's go ahead and turn off some white lights here. So we got the galley light. Let's turn on the flight recorder. And let's turn on the oxygen supply. Very good. All right, let's get our V speeds. Our METAR should be in here now. Yep. All right, very good. So let's go ahead to here. Let's click, oh, you know, let's contact the ATC first and make sure we can get the departure we want. Give me a second. Let's make sure we can get it. They're saying runway 10, but who the hell was out front of my house? Give me a second. Let me check my Ring doorbell real quick. There's somebody outside my house. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use runway 10. Oh, it was just Amazon delivering something. Okay. I was wondering, because it was a little early for the mail to show up, so I was like, who the hell is at my house? Who the hell is at my house? All right, tune to Baltimore Tower. Ground services. Go back to clearance. Damn it, I don't know if I can use runway 10. Give it a try and see what happens. Let's go in and just click on flight plan. Let's change our runway. And we'll still use the same departure, hopefully. Plug it in here in Navigraph and make sure that takes as well. All right, runway 10. All right, we're good. It still took it. All right, so let's get rid of this vector. And let's get rid of that discontinuity because we should be able to pick up wants right away. So we got runway 10, and then we got to make a big U-turn. Yep, and that looks like what we got to do. We'll take off on runway 10. It's that way, and then we got to make a big U-turn and pick up wants. All right, that's no big deal. All right, let's come over here now. And let's click on runway length. I'm sorry, let's click on this box here. And click on this, it brings the runway length in. Let's click on this, brings the heading in. Let's refresh our METAR. All right, our weight is 109.54, so let's type in 109.5. Um, 09.5. Let's calculate that. So once we're done calculating all this stuff and doing finishing up the FMC, then we'll turn on the APU. We'll get rid of the jetway, and then we'll back up and get out of here. All right, let's go ahead and just finish setting up our FMC here. So next page, our fuel block is 13.5. 13.5. We're almost done. Our zero fuel weight is 96.0. And this is 26.5 here. So 96.0. And 26.5 for the center of gravity. That looks all good. Let's go to takeoff. And V1 and V2 is 135 and 136. So 35, 136. The V2 speed, once we get the avionics on, this number will change when we change the speed up here. All right, so let's put our seatbelt signs on. Put our non-smoking signs on. Let's go ahead and get the jetway disconnected. Hometown airport here, BWI. We're not going to be flying. If we were landing here today, we'd probably be actually flying over my development. We get a lot of planes that fly over my development. All right, looks like the door is closed. Very good. Let's remove the chocks. All right, make sure our parking brake is on. It is. All right, let's go ahead and get the APU turned on. So let's put on this inner tank here. Go ahead and turn the APU on. Wait a few seconds. And then click start. Let's arm our emergency lights and put the APU bleed on. APU here, we're just waiting on. Should start moving here any minute. APU. Let's roll, bitch. Come on. Yeah. There we go. It's about damn time. Let me check if we have any constraints with altitude on our takeoff. It doesn't look like we do. You know, where we need to be under a certain altitude. Doesn't look like that. All right, APU is firing up. Let's turn, now that the IRS is aligned also, we can now turn on pitch trim, yaw dampeners, and avionics. Our V2 speed again was 161, so let's add 15 to that. So let's plug in 176. Heading for the runway we're taking off on today is 94. So let's plug that in. And we're getting ready to push back here in a moment. Let's just set up a couple more little things here. -5. And the flex speed. Flex temperature is always 59 degrees in this airplane. Weird. All right, flex temperature 59. All right. Oh, and let me plug in our landing altitude actually as well. That should be pretty close to sea level, being that we're flying to Florida. Yeah, 30 feet. So let's just click this over one time, and that puts us at 50 feet, so that's close enough. All right, let's go ahead and disconnect our ground power now that the APU is running, and then we'll back up. And we need to go that way, so let's go ahead and disconnect the park and brake. See our V2 speed now changed since we entered it in. All right, let's go ahead and anything with white lettering needs to be clicked on so the white lettering goes off. Turn on all of our pumps. Started moving. And I think we need to go this way. Yep. All right, let's get the engine turned on here. So let's turn this to crank A/B or whichever one you want. Let's click arm. Let N2 get up a little bit. Boy, these engines sound great when they start heating up, man. Jesus Christ. All right, let's put on fuel. We can actually stop our pushback now. Park and brake back on. Our takeoff trim is 0.8 up, so let's make sure this is 0.8 up. That's pretty close. Turn on the second engine. Oops. N2 is about 10 now, so let's click on this. Let's go ahead and get our weather system turned on. And let's get our traffic system turned on. TARA, and put that above. Let's go ahead and put our nav lights on, logo, taxi light. And we are ready to roll, my friends. We are ready to, well, we got to put our flaps down first. Hang on. And we got to set this to max for parking for the auto brake and turn our brake fans on. Now we're ready to go. Let me turn my mouse off. Let's click the parking brake, so that's off. Yeah, it's off. Go ahead and click on that so we can bring that back up. So we do have to set our METAR actually. What's our METAR? All right, and according to this, let's update this. So 1030. There we go. All right. This runway here is used very often for flights to take off from at this airport. This runway and runway 15 right. Our 15 right isn't showing up in our flight planner for some reason. It wouldn't allow me to choose it. That was the one we were really supposed to take off from, but it wouldn't let me. But this plane's going to be taken off just like they do in real life here, where we take off from the runway, we put the landing gear up, and then we immediately make a turn to the right to pick up our standard instrument departure. They do that like clockwork, like all day. There's a really good miniature golf course and a really good driving range right across the street from this airport. So the airplanes fly like directly over it all day. And there's a park there that I used to take my kids to when they were young, which overlooked, the runways too, and the airplanes would fly right over. Felt like you could almost touch them sometimes. It was so cool how close they flew to the park. I do have live weather and live time on. Hopefully the screens will stay on. I'm hoping. I turned on traffic a little bit again. Like I turned it back to kind of the settings I had before, because that Piper M500. Really, the only way to keep the screens on that plane is to turn all the data absorbing, memory absorbing stuff off. Traffic needed to be turned off all the way. No vehicles on the ground. Preset weather, preset time, which is okay. It's not a big deal, but hopefully Microsoft will fix it. Maybe they're not going to do anything, because I think there's a new simulator coming out next year. So, maybe they're done kind of patching this one. We still need to click navigation and profile. We'll do that when we start lining up. Legion Air. I clicked on, I searched Legion Air today so I could find like a picture, and everything was like cheap flights, cheap flights, cheap flights. So I've never really heard of Legion Air before. I've never really seen them at the airport either. Usually it's just Southwest that I see. Like this whole terminal, like right here, and everything on this other side of the strip here, like that's like all Southwest. Like Southwest is huge at BWI. They have their own like major terminal. We're flying down to Sarasota, Florida. I think that's where the Baltimore Orioles do their spring training, if I remember correct. I think that's where they still do it. I don't remember for sure if that's still where they do it. Yeah, I was thinking about this or a 737 this morning, but I'll probably do 737 later tonight. I was trying to do it like an early morning, like first in the morning thing kind of flight, but I couldn't wake up. I went to bed real late last night. Yeah, this runway here, runway 28, and runway 10. Wait a minute, we're supposed to be taking off from runway 10. What the hell's going on? Oh, that's right, we're going over to it now. Yep. Got confused for a second. Nav, profile. And there were no constraints, if I remember correct. Takeoffs. Now we got over 11,000, so let's plug in 11,000 first. That's our first. So we got to hit once, and then terps. And when we get to terps, we need to be over 11,000 feet. Yeah, boy. I guess I could turn the APU off. I kind of forgot that was still on. Let's put this on continuous relight, and we can turn U off and U off. Travel is our deal. I was trying to do a flight in Colombia, South America today, but I could not find. So Avianca was the plane I was trying to fly. I could not find a livery for Avianca at all. I went through all the livery packs, and nobody has Avianca, which is crazy. I mean, either they couldn't get the licensing for it, or they just didn't think it was a big enough airplane. But it's crazy that they don't have it. They got everything else. I was thinking about using another livery, but you know, when I do these flights that are based off of flights in real life, you know, I know this is not the plane that it flew, but it flew an A320, which is close in size. But yeah, I was trying my best to find it. I just couldn't find it, so I didn't want to use another livery. I guess I could have used the standard, like the default A310 livery, but you know, that's kind of boring to me. I like actually seeing like I like pretending like this is the real flight, you know? All right, let's set up here for a second. Get clearance. Brake fans off. Alright, let's go ahead, bitch. Alright, let's give it a little juice. And click Toga. Let's get ready to have some fun. Hopefully there'll be no potholes on this runway. Sometimes there's invisible potholes on this runway and the plane nosedives into it. I think we're okay. Gear up. Go ahead and make our turn. Back on our throttle just a little bit. This is kind of what they do in real life here. They take off and they make this really sharp bank to the right. Sure, when the pilots do it, they're not using their left thumb like I'm using. I really wish I had some yokes, but I don't have the money for them just yet. One day I will. I think this would be a lot of fun to use like actual yokes for instead of just a controller, but all right, let's click autopilot. And let's go ahead and our flaps a little bit. And my house is all the way like back there where the water is, like back there. All right, let's move this up to 14,000, I guess. And we're in icing range already because it's cold over here in Maryland now. And we're increasing our speed now so we can move our flaps up now. Oh shit. No wonder we're not climbing the right way. I thought I clicked profile before. Wonder why it didn't take. That was weird. No wonder we were sitting there at a low speed. All right, we're good now. That was weird. I know I clicked profile. I wonder what happened. Strange.
Stop rudder input. Stop rudder input. Stop rudder input.
I did. I only hit the
rudder input.
You motherfucker. I only hit the button one time. Sorry. Jesus. Thing is so touchy. God, man. He is so touchy. You hit the left trigger one time by accident, man, and he starts yelling at you. It was an accident, dude. Sorry. All right, let's just plug in 38,000 feet. Might as well. We got nothing stopping us from getting there. Boy, it is cloudy out here today in Maryland. Jesus. We're getting ready to plug in standard pressure. You can't really pull it or push it. Oh, you can. They might have updated that. I forgot. Well, whatever. I stand corrected. I didn't think we could still do that. I thought that was changed. My bad. And then I actually like to come over here to our weights and fuel. And I like to click live so I can keep an eye on it live time. All right, man. We can just sit back now and let it do what it do, baby. Sir. And when we get up to our cruising altitude, we will speed up just a little bit. That many clouds, I may just sit inside the cabin and not do an outside view when we're doing the sped up part. This many clouds, I don't know if it's just the Xbox S or if the PC will do it too or whatever, but the clouds have a very difficult time rendering properly. And it puts a lot of strain on the, it puts a lot of strain on the simulator to keep up the rendering of everything at that speed. So the clouds start getting these huge black and white lines through it, and they're really, so it's weird looking. Usually when I'm speeding up and there's this many clouds, I'll just sit in the cockpit and just kind of look at the gauges. That way I don't have to worry about anything rendering or taking up memory. Because supposedly memory leaks are what causes these screens to go out. So I still can't really fly in Europe, which is why I'm not doing too many flights in Europe anymore. A lot of the airplanes, the screens don't work in Europe. Like they do in England and Sweden, Norway, and but if you go down to Germany or Austria, Italy, a lot of times, France, Spain, the screens are just not working down there for some reason. And here's another major airport, KIAD, Washington Dulles. It's a huge airport. A lot of international flights take off and land at that airport every day. Now, I saw the people that made this plane, they have an A300-600 that I thought was released. It might just be on PC. It might not be released for Xbox yet. And I saw where they released that, and then PMDG, the company that makes the 737 that I fly on the simulator, they have a 777 that should be released very soon. And then there's another company, I think Inna builds, or Just Flights. One of those two. I think it's one of those two. They have an A380 that should be coming out here very soon. Very soon for this here simulator, which is gonna be awesome, man. I already got some money put aside so I can get those planes. Because I would love to fly the A380 on the simulator. That would be dope. King of the skies. King of the north. I only bend my knee to one king. That's the king of the north. All right, let's move map out a little bit. No. Oops. Oh, why are we still in takeoff mode? That's really strange that it didn't flip over by itself. You know, when we were sitting outside and I was running my mouth, I was wondering if the levers still say toga. Like I'm like, why do they still say toga? We're in climb mode now, so it should fix itself now that we're in climb mode. Oh, we gotta lock our gear. I never did that. I wonder if that was the issue because I didn't lock the gear. I wonder if that has anything to do with the mode not flipping. I'd find that kind of hard to believe, though, that'd be the reason why. All right, we can turn off our anti-ice now because we're well below that freezing line. And I guess we can turn off the seatbelt sign for all the fake passengers we got on board today. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for flying Legion Air today. We're almost at our cruising altitude of 38,000 feet. The flight attendants will be around soon with the drinks and the snack cart. We certainly at Allegiant Air appreciate your business today. We appreciate you flying with us. We'll be at Sarasota, Bradenton International before you know it. Just sit back, relax, and don't do anything stupid. Those are some tall clouds there. Good Lord. That's like tornado clouds right there. I know it's not a tornado. I'm just talking about the height, man. You know, whenever you see clouds that are like 30, 40, 50,000 feet in the air, usually it's dropping hail, dropping a tornado, or just wrecking havoc on whatever town it's over. That's a small little cloud, though. I don't think that's doing anything. All right, where are we at in the world right now? So we're getting ready to pass J-Dub. That would put us at J-Dub. No, I don't know, actually. Oh, here we go, J-Dub. That would put us right at Spotsylvania, so we're still kind of over the middle of Virginia right now. Spotsylvania, Virginia. And the waypoint after that is, let's see what airport this is here. Yep, that's still Virginia. Okay. And then Scorn would be still Virginia, probably. Yep, still Virginia. Okay. So we got a little bit more time in Virginia here. All right, climb levers are good. .62 to the top of our descent. And once we make this turn, we'll go ahead and speed up the sim just a little bit for a few minutes. I mean, we can go higher than 2 times the speed, but I don't like to, especially in this airplane. This airplane, like, bounces all around and shit. Like, if you put it up anything past 2x for the speed, man, it just does not. It is not your friend at that point. It gets very angry at you, this airplane. Actually, a lot of the airplanes in the simulator get angry at you if you go past 2 times the speed. Once we level out, we'll increase our speed a little bit. Bring down this number here. We almost level out. All right, let's go ahead and increase. So right thumbstick is held down once and twice up on the D-pad, and now we should be in 2x speed. Yep, we are. And you see the miles are coming down now, almost a mile a second. All right, so you can kind of see sometimes you see those big, like, black and white lines that show up on these clouds when we get closer to them. There you go. You can kind of see it right over the wing. So that's kind of why I don't really hang outside too often when I don't want this simulator working harder than it has to. But what we can do in the meantime, we can actually, let's plug in our ILS frequency and course. So we can do that right over here. Oh, one thing first. Let's change our traffic system to normal. And we're not getting ready to make any turns, so that's good. All right, so our final course today is 139. Let's plug in 139. Our frequency is 111.3. All right, and our decision height is 200. We'll plug that in a little bit later. That we plug in up here on both sides. And then when we come in for our ILS landing, what we'll do is we'll put ourselves in heading mode, do the heading ourselves. You can see how much the plane is bouncing right now. It's only in 2x. 3x, we'd probably be out of autopilot right now, and I'd be trying to get control of the airplane. But we would take this and move it down to ILS. If you're doing a VOR thing, you would actually move it up to VOR. And then at that point, this system here would allow you to input information in to the VOR system. You can't input anything in it because we're not in that mode. So you can only use that side or this side of the VOR when we're in VOR mode. All right, So we're still coming down about a mile a second. It's not bad. There we go. Now you can see those lines, like how much trouble it has, like rendering these clouds and shit, right above the fuselage and the wing. Crazy. I usually stay in this sped up mode until we get ready to make a turn. In the 737, that plane slows down on its own, so there's no real reason to do anything with that plane. That plane will just slow down when it gets to a waypoint and then speed up again about a mile afterwards. And then when we get to big turns, it usually slows down for those turns also. But this flight takes about 2 hours and some minutes. So if we're in 2x speed, it's still going to take probably a good 45 minutes in sped up mode. All right, so GSO we're getting ready to hit. So when we get to about 20 miles away, we'll go ahead and take ourselves out of sped up mode at GSO. That's for Greensboro, North Carolina. All right, let's go ahead and put us at regular speed again. And after we pass Greensboro, then we'll go ahead and put ourselves in sped up mode, because we have a good chunk of time before we make any more turns. We're pretty much, once we make this next turn, we're pretty much going in a straight line until we get into Florida, like the north end of Florida, and then we'll start picking up our arrival, our arrival. And I wish they had a system like Aerofly in this game where we can just go ahead and speed up past this part and just put ourselves like 50 miles out of our descent and just go there and cut out all this cruise and shit. It's the part that, like, it's like the worst for me. I just hate sitting here. I shouldn't say hate, that's a strong word. I really find it, I guess boring is a better word. Like, I find it really boring just sitting here at, waiting. Jesus Christ. It'd be nice if they had like some sort of mini game on the plane where we could play like a mini game. Like mini Doom or mini Grand Theft Auto. Ace Combat, like mini Ace Combat. I believe that's the Greensboro airport right there. So we should be getting ready to make our turn, I would think. I think that's the airport there for Greensboro. I think it is. I think that's the Greensboro airport. I would say we're going to be making our turn here pretty soon. That plane last night, man. That Piper has so much stuff in it, man. That plane is crazy, the amount of shit that they put in that plane. Absolutely nuts. Especially the part where, like, the plane shows up on the map on the tablet, and like it's crazy, man. Especially like the way that plane lights up at nighttime, man. It looks like, to me, it looks like the layout for the bikes in Tron, like the movie Tron, where they had like the electric bikes. The layout of the lights and all that shit reminds me of Tron for some reason. You know, let's see that point of interest or not? No, I guess not. Guess not. Oh, there we go. Yep, Greensboro, something. Yep. So we should be turning here any moment. That'll pretty much be our last big turn until we get to our arrival. There's a couple little turns here and there, but we just sit up here and just wait. Getting ready to buy Subnautica again. Start playing it on this. I haven't played it on the next gen console yet. I've only played it on PlayStation 4, but I'm real excited. Yeah, here's our turn. I'm real excited to play it on this new Xbox. And the first Subnautica is only $10. Shit, that's a hell of a deal, man. $10 for that game. Subnautica, if you never played that game, man, that game is a lot of fun. That's for sure. All right, we got 579. Once we're pretty close to level. Let's go speed up again. All right, we're now in 2x mode. So long that you did me so wrong. I wanna go on without you. We can hang outside a little bit now. There's not many clouds. Well, it's clear over the Carolinas today. Good Lord. Slow up a little bit. We got a little bit of a turn coming up here in a couple of minutes, so let's slow on up a little bit. I will be back in a moment. Ugh. I'm back. Saturday, I'm doing laundry. Big exciting day in the Gregg household. Big exciting day full of laundry and other stuff. Yeah, the exciting life of a single father with full custody. All right, once we make this next little turn here, we'll speed back up again, but we're making it. Just under 500 miles to our destination. I would think our top of descent's probably about 330 miles away, probably. Somewhere in that area. We need 4, 8, 12. Probably need about 140 miles to descend. Is kind of my guess. Maybe a little bit less. And we are over, what part of the world are we over now? Slow Joe is Atlanta, White Bluff. We are South Carolina. Yep. There's an Air Force base right over there, I believe is the Air Force base. Right where that wing tip is, I believe that's the Air Force base. The Lancaster Kirk Air Base. According to the map I'm looking at. And we got this big old river coming up. And then Msfs, which is coming up, is right outside of the city. Is this Columbia? I believe South Carolina. Is that Columbia? Yep. So Msfs is right on the skirts of Columbia, South Carolina. Big city in South Carolina. At least it looks big on the map. There's a lot of yellow. All right, let's go ahead and speed up a little bit. So, once and twice. Now we're in 2x speed again. Nothing exciting in this big old Spider-Man mug, just water. Nothing exciting to drink. The 2x speed puts us right at about a mile a minute. Right at about a mile a minute. I don't mind sitting on the outside of the plane when there's not a lot of clouds. Doesn't really need to worry about anything rendering or anything like that. Just sometimes the simulator has trouble at this kind of speed when there's a lot of clouds out, especially when you're doing live weather. It's pre-programmed, it's not that big of a deal, but the live weather part really puts a lot of strain on the memory. Now it looks like we're off center. It's because of the wind. You know, if we were flying exactly like our flight plan is supposed to be, we'd be off course. So we have to angle differently because the wind is trying to push us to one side. So we have to offset that. So that's why the course, you know, is going like this way, and our plane is like angled like straight up. And let's see here, Ryle, that is right outside of Sylvania, Georgia. I don't think we're passing over Atlanta, Georgia. That's on the other side. Yeah, that's way on the other side of Georgia. Yeah, we're not anywhere close to that. We're pretty close to the coastline of Georgia. Let's go back to regular time. I would expect to start seeing our top of descent show up somewhere around here sometime soon. Let me see. It's got to show up sometime soon. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I figured it's going to show up sometime soon because we're pretty close to. You know, we don't have that much of the flight plan left actually. Let's no, I guess we can update our descent later. I still have to put in the forecast for our descent. But I'll do that right before we start descending. I'll plug that in. Looks like we'll start our descent right around Ocala, Florida. Yep, yeah, right around Ocala is where we'll begin our descent, according to this map here. And for our descent, we don't really have any altitude constraints at all. That's kind of odd. Usually there's some sort of altitude constraints, but nothing. We're free to really decline how we see fit. Doing good with fuel. Air conditioner is okay. What's our pressure doing? That should be okay too. Yep, 7,500 feet. Our DC power. Everything's nominal in the normal range. And what about this current here? The electrical buses are okay. Where'd my scratcher go? There's my back scratcher at. Yo, what's up, buddy? Thanks for checking out the. Thanks for coming aboard for a few minutes. I appreciate it. Here's my back scratcher. Oh man. All right, let's go back to, I guess, the regular view. Where's the regular view at? Nope, not that one. Is it recall? There we go. The engines are off. Maybe there wasn't anything on that page to begin with. I forget. Let me get this scratch real quick. Oh my God, that feels so good. Jesus Christ. I bought this back scratcher at a Halloween store like a year ago, and it's like this little skeleton hand, but they're so sharp, man. Like the ends, man, it feels so good. Like when you get to your back, man, it's like sends the chills up. All right, where did my screen go, man? There's that one. I guess the engine. Okay, maybe there wasn't anything on that screen to begin with. I thought that had like our messages on there. It did it. It had our messages on there before. I wonder what happened to it. There we go. All right, very good. Our top of descent still not. So let's go ahead and speed back up a little bit. Do 2x speed for a little bit more. I know you're right, period. However, almost no airliner uses this plane anymore, so I'm just pretending. Since they're pretty close in size, period. I wish there was a way I could figure out how to get my face up on Twitch at the same time as YouTube. Dude, I'll have to, you know what? I'm going to look into that this afternoon. Because what I do is I go from So the Xbox really only allows you to stream to Twitch. So I stream right to Twitch, and then I use OBS to capture the display and the sound from Twitch on my laptop, and then that throws it up to YouTube. And I can use the camera on my laptop, like I'm using now. Not a great camera, but still a camera. But on Twitch, like I want to try to get my face up on there too, but oh well. But yeah, somebody on Twitch, Gabriel 767ER, pointed out that Allegiant never flew the plane, which is true. It's very true. But there's pretty much nobody flies this plane anymore. So this plane was retired many years ago, and the Airbus A330 series took the place of this plane. So what I usually do is I'll just pick out an A320 flight or an A321 flight and use this plane for it, just to pretend, because they are very similar in size. There's almost nobody that flies the A310 anymore in real life. Every once in a while, I'll see a flight on FlightAware with an A310, but it's usually like some sort of cargo plane in like some rural part of China or Russia or somewhere like that. And I bought all these liveries, so I want to use this plane for if the A330 in this simulator was up to my likings, then I would just use the A320. But it's not. I mean, it's a very vanilla cockpit. There's you really can't do much inside of it at all, which is okay. I mean, not everybody wants to play this the way I do, where I want to interact with everything. Not everybody wants that, which is fine. But so that's why this plane, I think, is a pretty good substitute. It's fairly close in size to the A320. And I have like 35 or 40 liveries for this A310. So I just pretend. When in the title I put real flight, it is a real flight. Like if you were to look up AAY, what is it, 1849, I think it is. Yeah, like if you were go to FlightAware right now, go to FlightAware, and in the search bar, type in AAY 1849, you'll see a real A320 flight that's probably just landed, actually. That took off from BWI. It's going to Sarasota. It's a real flight. Just not flying an A310. It's flying an A320. All right, there's our top of descent. It's going to be showing up here pretty soon. Now, when I do the 737 flights, those I make sure are 738s, just like the plane I have. Same thing with a lot of the other planes that I fly. The Longitude from Cessna, the CJ4, the MU2. If I put in the title real flight, those I usually make sure are the actual, plane, but can't do anything with the A310. They don't make it anymore. Nobody flies it anymore. All right, so yeah, W1, and then let me see how far Spaz is. Well, it's not really far at all, actually. We only got, let me pull up the chart. I would pull up the chart to show you, but can't pull it up on this plane. So from 1 to Spaz, that's only 34 miles. And then the Baton, it's, or Baton, that's another 25 miles. So we got about maybe 60 miles to the top of our descent, which is about right. I think I said earlier about 170 miles. So looks like we're going to have about 170 miles for our descent. No, I don't want to do that. I will be doing another. I'll probably be doing 2 more flights before I go to sleep tonight. So I definitely want to do a Cessna, like CJ4 or Longitude. I definitely want to do one of those, and I may do an ATR, or I might do a 737 because I have failures turned on with the 737, but those failures are specific to the livery that I'm using. So the more I use Southwest or Delta or ANA, over in Japan or anything, the more I use that specific livery, the higher the chances are of something failing. So I got about equal amount of time in Southwest, Delta, Virgin Airlines in Australia, Air New Zealand, ANA or Al Nippon. So I'm not, and Qatar and Emirates. So, I got about equal amount of time in those planes. So it's just a matter of time before one of those starts giving me failures. Not like that Piper plane, man. That Piper plane was crazy as shit. It gives you a timer. Like if you check out my video last night, the one I made last night, where we were flying to Cayman Islands, I was showing on the screen the tablet where it has it gives you the amount of hours that the battery's been used so far, the amount of hours on the engine. I mean, it's crazy. Like the level of detail in that plane, it's crazy. We are going to begin our descent here pretty soon. Shit. I got to take this call real quick. My microphone will be unmuted momentarily. All right, I'm back. That was my mama. Big mama calling. Well, she's not big, but... Oh, I forgot to plug our descent forecast in. I was on the phone. Shit. Too late to plug it in now, I think. Yep, that's all right. We'll be okay. It's just a simulator. But we do need to plug in our... All right, wind correction is going to be +5. And MDA is 200. Boy, you guys could hear that in the headphones. Jesus Christ. I heard that in the headphones. That was the buzzer for my laundry. All right, mode. We'll do progress. I think that person that just showed up at my house was the mailman. I think we're a little low for where we should be at, actually. Yeah, lumber, we should be at 38,000 feet. So, okay, let's go ahead and hold our altitude here. Let's let this vertical deviator come into play. Yeah, we're a little low for where we should be at. Yep, that was the mailman that just showed up. I love having a Ring doorbell, man. That's awesome. Nice to be able to like wear headphones and not worry about somebody knocking on the door. Now I got a Ring doorbell. I can see everything. So let's wait for this vertical deviation icon to come down a little bit more. And then once it comes down a little bit more, then we'll start our descent again. But we're pretty close to the speed we should be at. We're at 0.75. We should be at 0.77. Pretty close. And we do need to switch our traffic to below now since we're descending. I would think a little bit past this lubber, we should probably start seeing this vertical deviator start coming down a bit more. Just a guess. I don't know for sure, but that's kind of what I'm guessing. Zebron, we're supposed to be at 32,000 feet, and we're at, what are we at right now? 34 something. So yeah, I would think momentarily we're going to see this come down, I would think. Yep. There we go. Let's click profile. Now we regained our descent profile again. And let's go down to 26.1. I usually do them in steps like this. That way, this icon right here, that's showing us what our computer system thinks our point's going to be at the altitude that we've just programmed. So That's what it thinks we're going to be at. So by breaker, we should be at 26.1. And we're pretty close to that. We may need to hit some flaps a little bit. I mean, hit some of this just for a few seconds, just to slow down a little bit. It's not, we don't have to be at that altitude. It's not like that altitude is part of the arrival chart. It's just a suggestion. All right, and after 26.1, we are at 19,000. Let's go ahead and update our METAR information. Let's see here. Does it say anything about wind gusts? I don't see wind gusts on this page. We got the Zulu time. We have the wind is at a direction of 80 degrees, 12 knots. Scattered clouds we can see for 10 miles. Scatter clouds up to 4,300 feet. A310, 30.19 or 1022. Yeah, I don't see anything about wind gusts, so. When we get to about 23,000 feet or so, we'll adjust our altitude down a bit more. Now we're not going to follow this flight plan completely once we get closer to the airport, because there was no exact there's no exact waypoint to connect our approach and our arrival. So we're going to go on our arrival until we kind of get perpendicular to the airport. Then we're going to switch over to ILS mode and do heading mode and, control the plane ourselves. We're not going to let our navigation system do it on its own. We're going to input what we want. So still have a little bit of time for that. We're getting closer, but we have a little bit of time for that. All right, let's plug in 14.9. And our glide scope altitude is going to be 2,000. So that's going to be the altitude that we kind of bottom out at. We're in icing range. Let's put on some icing protection. What is that, Woody? So Woody's one of the last waypoints before we make a pretty big turn. We're going to go from a heading of 226 to a heading of 273. And we're still doing pretty good with our descent. That vertical deviator is still in the center, which is a good thing. Our speed is doing okay. Everything is looking pretty good so far for our landing. I like using this as well to line up with the localizer if need be, because this tells us what radial we're flying against. So radials radiate. So if you look at a VOR, it's a big circle, and the radials radiate away, right? So this number here, this 215, is the radial that's like hitting our airplane right now. So the radial we need, since we have a course of 139, the radial is the 180 degree opposite of this. So we would be looking at the radial would be 319 would be our radial. So we're a little far away from that. Type it 3000 here, and I want to plug in the heading of, let's see here, so we have route A, okay. Not authorized for pi is 114. Okay, there's pi there. So I think what we'll do is 39 Paso. I'm looking at the different the different waypoints that we could intersect. All right, so I want to plug in a heading of 273. So you can see this, what I'm talking about, how our flight plan. So here's route A. And our flight plan wants to make us really hard turn here. Well, we're not going to do that. We're going to come out and then try to make a, kind of a nice turn if we can. We may just wind up going this way and then going out a little bit and then making a big U-turn. That might be what happens too because of our altitude. Oh, I got to plug in our METAR. What is it? 3019 and 1022. There we go. That's up to date now. Very good. We're not really going to need this screen down here so much once we go into heading mode. Once we go into heading mode, we just really need to focus on lining up the localizer. We'll switch our screen as well, to where it has, this kind of view, so we can line up with our localizer. The only thing is when we take ourselves into that mode, we're going to be taking ourselves out of profile mode. So we're going to have to control the descent on our own and the speed and all that, which is fine. That's no big deal. Which we're actually getting ready to do right now. Once we get a little bit closer to route A, we're actually kind of quite a bit higher than we should be. I wonder if there's a holding pattern we can do. Oh, there is a holding pattern we can do. Paso, so the holding pattern is frugal. There's a holding pattern we can do. We may have to do that. There's frugal down there. There's a holding pattern there. Built in. Well, it's not really a holding pattern, actually. I think it's a procedure turn, not a holding pattern. Actually, So the holding patterns are Murdo. Where the hell is Murdo? I don't see it. All right, let's switch over to heading mode. I guess we'll make our own holding pattern, I guess. All right, let's go ahead and switch to ILS mode. Switch this over. I actually want to, let's go ahead and on this. And let's switch this to like 220. I'm saying we're 12 miles away. So let's go ahead and see where we're at. Oops. All right, let's put on our brakes. We'll do medium. We're out of icing range, right? Yep. Put our logo light back on. Our wing light back.
Rudder input.
Oh, shut up.
Stop rudder input.
It was an accident.
Stop rudder input. Stop rudder input.
All right, let's go ahead and make a little bit of a turn here so we can try to line up with the ILS. We're way off on the altitude, that's okay. I think after one circle of a holding pattern, we should be okay. Let's bring this down to about 1200 so our speed can lower down a bit more. Plenty of fuel left, so there's no reason to panic or anything. All right, very good. So that's lining up. Let's go ahead and go on a course of 319. We'll do, yeah, let's do 319. Do that for about a minute. Try to get lined up again with this ILS a little bit. Made that turn a little bit late. We can put our landing lights on. Light scope is starting to come in a little bit. All right, it's been a minute. We can go ahead and turn around again. one set of flaps down. And now that we are kind of in line with the ILS again, not an exact science. Well, I guess maybe it is an exact science. I don't know why I said that. It's kind of a stupid thing to say. I do say some stupid shit every once in a while. Alright, the glide scope is now active, so let's go ahead and line up with our localizer. Let's go ahead and move that down a little bit more. Let's try to line up with our localizer. Let's click land. All right, localizer is captured now. Let's go ahead and arm the second autopilot as well, so we can do a Category 3 landing. Turn our speed down a little bit more. We'll stay at 3,000 feet. The glide scope will capture that at some point here. The glide scope capture point on the chart says 2,000 feet, but we'll be okay at 3,000. That just means it'll capture it just a little bit early. About 141. This was a fun little flight, man. I like this flight. This was fun. All right, the localizer is lining up nicely. Once we begin our descent, the engines will stop working so hard. But they're okay. They're still well within their range. All right, let's go slow down a little bit more. So we're getting ready to put our landing gear down. You can see the little diamonds coming down. That's for the glide scope. Let's put our landing gear down. Put our flaps down all the way. There's our runway right over there, right in front of us. Glide scope should activate any second. There we go. So let's plug in. We'll do 145 for now. Let's double check our METAR. Still 3019, still 1022. All right. And we are we're all set, to be honest. .141's the speed we're supposed to be at, so let's plug that in. You're all set, boys and girls. And we'll take a break for a little bit and then come back a little bit later tonight. But yep, in this plane, if you want to do a Category 3 landing, you have to have both autopilot switches up. But you can only put both switches up once you're in land mode and once the localizer has been, once the localizer shows up and once the glide scope shows up. You can't put yourself in land mode until this glide scope indicator shows up. Once this pink diamond shows up, you can then click the land button, and then you can arm autopilot too. If you push land before this indicator shows up, nothing will happen. So, what's up, Florida? Where's Florida Man at? I see him. I see Florida Man. This little golf course right on the water. Got baseball diamonds, football field. I wonder if that's a school there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, 9 baseball diamonds. Jesus. And look how many like football, soccer field, lacrosse fields they got. Got a really nice little stadium there. Looks like a practice field right there. Wow. That's cool. Looks like a little airstrip for a runway. Maybe that is a little runway. But it's got to be beautiful, like living on the coast right there. Oh, another golf course. Jesus Christ. It's got to be beautiful, like living right on the water there, just overlooking the Gulf of Mexico there like that. It's got to be awesome. Bayshore Gardens. All right, let's do it. Looks like mobile homes, sort of like modular homes. There's a school there. And you see the water moving. That's pretty cool. Once we get on the ground and we stop, we'll contact the ATC and see if we can get an air marshal on the ground. Maybe. We will see. What? Over here.
Oh, that's right.
On the ground, in front of the chair.
Oh.
On the ground in front of the chair. All right, I think I'm done playing with the engines enough. All right, let's go ahead and do that. I thought the autopilot was off at first, but it wasn't, so that's why I started heading into the grass. These engines are fucking... They're very touchy this afternoon, these engines. let's go ahead and see if we have an air marshal. I think I see him. I think I see him standing there. Yes, my boy's here with his rave sticks. That's good. Oh, not yet. There we go. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and get the jetway connected. Chocks down. Get the jetway connected. Let's open up that door. And let's go ahead and shut down our airplane. No switch, taxi, anti-ice off, APU start. All right, we can turn off all these lights. No switch, taxi, yeah, that's fine. Strobe is auto. Doesn't say anything about beacon light. All right, ignition off. All right, let's see here. Spoilers. Yeah, they're fine, I think. Yep. All right, transponder. We've got to put that on standby. And weather system off. All right. Yep. Slats and flaps are already up. Brake temperature. I don't think we need brake fans, do we? Our brakes. They're okay. We'll plug them on just in case. All right, after landing checklist, retracted, that's off. Weather radar, okay, that's all good. Parking procedure, okay, nose light off. Parking brakes on, let's turn on the APU bleed. All right, engine fuel levers off. All right, let's see here. Beacon off when NG is below 20. It is, so we can go ahead and turn the beacon lights off. Seatbelt signs can be turned off. Turn those off. Fuel pumps off. We need that one on for the APU. All right, let's see here. Probe heat off. sure which tank now actually does that. Let's see here. Oh, whatever. All right, IRSs. Turn them off because it's the last flight of the day. So we'll do 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. We can turn the brake fans off. And APU bleed, engines off, differential, lights, fuel pumps, window, park and brake. All right, that's all good. Let's flip these back up. Oh, they are off already. Okay. And let's turn our batteries off here. There we go. And we can turn the APU off. And we can disarm the emergency lights. There we go. Let's see once the APU dwindles down. I thought we would get some sort of, like the flight log, but I guess it doesn't show up. All right, nav systems are off. We got to turn off the... Turn that off. And the galley lights off. All right, well, everything is shut down. We made it. We landed safely here in beautiful Sarasota with Allegiant Air. Everybody's unloading, stretching their legs, and we will be back tonight for a doubleheader. Doubleheader Saturday night. I'm starting to put it together now. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we're going to do something good. And that's about it, my friends. You take care of yourself. Please click subscribe. Please click the thumbs up. And be good to yourself. Be good to me. And I will see y'all on the next episode of the Airplane Show. Somewhere over the beautiful skies of Mother Earth. We will have fun together.